Good evening, 6:01. We'll call the meeting to order. Item number one on the agenda is a swearing in ceremony. Chief,
directors, everyone. So if you recall recently, we did some movement in the community. Sergeant Bristol was moved for our new admin sergeant position, which created a patrol officer position. We held our sergeant assessments and we've talked about this in the past. They're pretty strenuous. They're not fun to go through. Well, I'll tell you that. Right. So yes. So Sergeant Harris was successful on that. The community looked at that process to rank number one. So was promoted as our next patrol sergeant. So a little bit, you come on up here, Sergeant Harris, and show the spotlight looking here. Sergeant Harris started his law enforcement career in 2011 from the Eastfield Police Academy, graduating his license as valedictorian. He's had 14 years in law enforcement, both at the local level and at the state level. He's been with us for 4 years now. He is a task force officer with the Homeland Security Investigation. You've heard me talk about we have a task force officer, but I've never named him. There he is. He's also a certified FAA drone operator. I have his master peace officer license. He is a field training officer with our department, and probably one of the most requested FTOs. He's one that we actually lean on heavily for our training, just by his experience, his personality. He bowled well with mentoring our new officers. And lastly, he has a bachelor's degree from the University of Texas at LS. So you're not missing anything. Okay. I'm good. All right. So, yes, try not to mess it up. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brandon Harris,
You solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
that I have not directly or indirectly paid,
offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute
or promised to contribute,
any money or thing of value,
or any money or thing of value,
or promised any public office
or promised any public office
or employment
or employment
for the giving or withholding
for the giving or withholding
of a vote
the vote
at the election
at the election
at which I was elected,
at which I was elected,
or as a reward
or as a reward
to secure my appointment or confirmation,
to secure my appointment or confirmation,
whichever the case may be.
whichever the case may be.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Any more? No, don't mess it up, man. Don't mess it up. Last one. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brandon Harris,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of police sergeant
of the office of police sergeant
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United
and
States
laws of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God. All right. Fair.
Sergeant Harris's daughter, Patty or Adeline, however you want to say it, you can do that. You don't have to call whichever one. So you do that. We all practice. Yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Congratulations.
Item number two on the agenda is public comments. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, directors are prohibited from acting on or discussing any new items brought before them at this time. Citizens' comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Comments about any of the agenda items are appreciated by the board of directors and may be taken into consideration at this time or during that agenda item. Please complete a public input form if you desire to address the board. All remarks and questions addressed to the board should be addressed to the board as a whole and not to any individual member thereof. I've got two. Bill Cyrus.
Hi. I have Tim down there safety. My first year on admin, manager, operations. I tried to get a hold of Elmer's office. I went there in person. And Nobody answered the door. There was no intercom action. There was, I don't know if everybody was in there. They weren't in there. Went home, dialed up, went to voicemail. Didn't actually didn't go to voicemail, but just disconnected. Just voicemail hadn't been set up. This is very concerning to me. I should think is that constituents that we should be able to get hold of people that are concerned with what we're doing. Another safety issue, the intersection of when Magnolia going eastbound at 1385 Costco. There's always been 2 lanes there. What I'm asking for, recommending, is that those 2 lanes be delineated and that one lane be designated right turn only and the left lane be designated straight into Costco, right to left turn. The reason I say that is because I almost got my head on that collision because when people don't know what's going on when you get a green light, we don't have a turn signal. The people coming out of Costco do. So exiting Savannah and you're want to make a left-hand turn, which is what I want to do. So then we're going to make that left-hand turn or going into Costco. I also think that'll help traffic flow as well. I don't know. I'm sure the chief can comment on that, but I think it will expedite or make things easier knowing that in the right-hand lane you go straight out to 380 if that's what you desire. So again, that's a recommendation. Lastly, digital safety. I was trying to get a hold of Chief earlier because of again of that recommendation, and so I got an email back, and I want to thank Sergeant Harris, and because I saw him in action today as well with Officer Stevens. Anyway, and she informed me because I told her I was expecting a call. And, oh my gosh, you know, Facebook that the chief's email it out, and it's some bad emails going out. And there was posted on Facebook that was the case, but why not let the communities know so that they can put a blast out, whatever. I don't think that the full avenues available is utilized to let folks know that there was some bad stuff out there. Don't click on it. So, and again, I was expecting some communication with the chief, so I had no idea about that. Hopefully, I won't be a victim of anything there, but that's just want to make it right.
Thank you.
Are you set up for our text alerts?
I believe I am, but I get all sorts of stuff from the so that I think.
Okay, so I sent a text alert on that. Okay, there's text alerts, email alerts that both went out. I'll shoot you a note. We'll get you set up if you're not.
Okay, thank you.
Craig Sundell.
Hey there, real quick. Just a couple, I'm from Arrowbrooke. We've talked about the street sign issue before. I know there's been some turnover in positions here, but we'd like to see if we can get that accelerated. It's been several months now. Additionally, we're wanting to reduce the speed limit on Arrowbrooke to 25 from 35 and need some assistance in a traffic study or what we need to do in order to reduce that speed. And the officer's been great patrolling. I know I see the lights on every once in a while, so they're catching speeders there. But if we could get some assistance on expediting that as well, that'd be very much appreciated. And last, we have a small vagrancy problem. The main pond there in Arrowbrooke, the middle of Arrowbrooke, has a generator house. And that generator's hasn't been run in 3 or 4 years probably. We're working on dismantling that as a board.
but someone's taken up residence in there. And I know that the police have been called out and the police have come out to remove the person who is residing in there. But if we could just continue to get some attention as you're driving by, stop by, that would be great. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have any more public comments? Do I have a motion to close public comment?
I'll make a motion to close public comments. For second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Item 3. Accept the resignation of Director of Finance and ratify engagement of Sky and Tovery.
Yeah, I guess, Mr. President, so, a little over 2 weeks ago, we got a resignation notice from, Director of Finance. Obviously, we have, finance duties that we have to take care of, payroll, bills, all of that. And so, we spoke, over members of the board, myself, spoke with, Diane Tovery, which is, a firm in North Texas that really all they do is special districts. And I think they have over 100 clients for sure. And so they have stepped in and taken over and maintained continuity of the finances. And so, I think this is an opportunity to have them introduced to the public, but then also ratify the action of bringing them on to perform the bookkeeping and finance tasks. So the only action really is to ratify that, but the board can discuss as much.
So we got this resignation. It wasn't entirely unexpected. Things were going sideways. And Jonathan set this meeting up. I was encouraged coming out of it, and we hired him on a temporary basis for now. So just on the direction slide, do we have any questions?
Yeah, I think so far so good. I was a little bit shocked to see some of the stuff that been kind of postponing. Hopefully we get a handle on that soon. So
Absolutely. I'm here to help with streamlining the processes and making sure that we have all the information. I've noticed that the Bookkeeper report that I try to be as detailed as possible, but we will get even more detailed as we go along. Right now, it's just kind of making sure that Bill's got page and keeping things moving and
I'd like to just go ahead and make a motion to formally accept the resignation of the Director of Finance and ratify the engagement of Diane Tovery.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 4, the consent agenda. We're going to pull the bookkeeper's report off the consent agenda. So this is for minutes, tax assessor, and developers. We won't have a chance to review any comments, questions.
no, I would make a motion to approve items A, B, and C from our consent agenda.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So with that, we'll move on into the bookkeeper's report.
I think it would just go through like what are you doing with it.
So the normal process of me going through this bookkeeping report, the only difference with this report is that it was done in a little bit of a time constraint. So there's a lot more information than would be there normally. So it's a little more difficult to kind of find out the things on there, but I do want to review what you're going to be seeing and what you're seeing now. So our first page will always be the summary of all of your funds on the bookkeeping report, and we'll list the total of your operating funds, the investments, and your utility road for capital projects and debt service fund. Going forward, I do want to break that down a little bit more into the different series that the funds are in, because there are certain allocations that are going from your capital projects fund to your general fund, and we want to keep track of the amounts that the series approved for certain projects. And once those series get depleted, we try to keep track of all of those things. So that's of course going forward, and we'll see more of that in the future. On page 2 is your operating cash report. You're going to see two things here. Your beginning cash balance was pulled from the previous bookkeeping report, but I had to pull the activity that was already presented on the financials for the previous meeting in order to make sure that I had a balance. So you're going to see all the stuff that you've already paid at the previous meeting. That was just for me to get to an ending balance and then start fresh with your beginning balance for this meeting. So you'll see all of those items listed below all the bills that were paid at the previous meeting on page 2 and 3. On page 4, this is the current meeting activity. So normally, we will present all of the items for the previous month. So we're in March, we would present to you all of the February activity and anything significant that may have come in the beginning of the new month also. But for the most part, we want to see everything that has gone on. And then we will also present to you any bills that are being paid and approved at the current meeting, which will get us to our ending cash balance. So here at the very top, you'll see your beginning balance for the current year. You'll see the property tax receipts received from February 14th to February 28th at $74,712.57. And then the property tax receipts received in the beginning of March of $52,322.62. Now you guys do have a lot of deposits, so I won't go through every single deposit. You'll see all of your deposits from Artesia billing, the utility billing, the T-Mobile water tower, the Kohler payable, the Verizon water tower easement fees, the Tarrant County College, and then you'll see a few voided checks there that were voided by your previous finance director. So I did list those there so that you can see anything that was not paid out. That brings your subtotal to $1,052,693.53. Right below that, you will see the bills that are being paid for this current meeting of $1,233,228.48. That does leave a negative ending balance in your operating cash account. That is not a true negative ending balance, actually showing that all of your money is in your investments right now. So we just need to do a transfer. I will always put a recommended transfer for you all to approve. So on this one, it shows a recommended transfer of $250,000 from your Texas class general fund. And you will see that on the next report once you approve it at this. Right below that, you'll see all of the investments in the general fund. So this includes your Texas class investments and then all of your CPs below, which total $31,122,336.17. On the next page, this is where the list of all of the bills that are going to be paid or have been paid at meetings. Normally, we will add anything that has been paid between meetings. With all of the information and getting in there really quick, it was a little bit more difficult to list that. So I did just put them as bills to be paid during this meeting. So you'll see all of the reoccurring bills. Those are mostly director's fees, district payroll, legal fees, any consulting fees and things like that. And then all of your operating expenses. Now, I did try to break down certain things. It was a little difficult. There's a lot of shared expenses. So in the next bookkeeping report, I will do a better job of getting those split out a little bit better so you can see the difference between your law enforcement expenses and then your actual operating expenses. So there might be a few things that are not listed in the proper category right now. All of your operating expenses include your alpha graphics, which is just replenishing check stock, payments to City of Aubrey for fire services, Denton Central Appraisal District. You'll see a large amount for that for appraisal fees. Part of that should be reimbursed from your debt service fund. So there will be a transfer to reimburse the general fund for that. On the next page are all of your law enforcement bills. Now, those you'll see that I did put a few notes, say PD and admin, just to show you that it is a shared cost and it is not a true law enforcement total bill allocated to them. So I did try to make a few notes on showing you that those are partly PD and partly admin, so that they're not responsible for all of those costs. So those are all listed. You will see all of the payments, the check numbers. A lot of the ACHs that you see there are paid between meetings. So that's kind of how you can tell what was paid between meetings and what you're actually signing as checks today. And then the utility refund that you see below, those are for January and February. Are sending those out also. Page 7 is your capital projects fund. Capital projects fund, there were 2 transfers from your tax accounts, your Series 2024 utility accounts, and that was in order to pay a bill to Crossline Construction for $749,333.08. That was an out-file wire. That means an ending balance of $3,007.71. However, you do have quite a bit of money in all of the investment funds, so your total investments are $16,858,861.01. On page 8 is your debt service fund. At the very top, you'll see activity that was also from the previous meeting in order for me to get to a proper balance to start the new bookkeeping report. So a lot of those transfers were done and approved at the previous meeting. Right below that, you'll see the property taxes from February 18 to March 14th of $37,878.55. And then all of the debt service payments that went out on March 1st are also listed there. That means an ending balance of $162,512.81. And then all of your investments, the total includes $14,943,146.76. On page 9, this shows your property tax collections as of February 8th, 2024. The district is 97.68% collected, so about $553,000 that's still outstanding. Page 10 and 11 is the schedule of debt service obligations. The next debt service payment that is due for the district is due on September 1st. And then page 12 through 18 is your budget. It is a very extensive budget. Right now, I really don't want to go over significant in there because I still haven't had a chance to really dig into there and make sure that the shared expenses are, where they need to go. But you will see, I will show you the actuals from the beginning of the fiscal year to the months that we're in. So this one is August through February, and then the year-to-date budget and your annual budget. So come next month, I'm going to have it a little more concise. This one's a little extensive. I'm going to try to break it down and make it a little easier to read so that you can see the significant items that are under your budget. So that way you can make better decisions with it instead of looking at something that's about 8 pages or 5 pages long. So I hope that helps. Unless you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer any feedback.
You went fast. Sorry, that's good. That's good. Deposits. Any issues there?
So deposits, as far as, is there something you're specifically?
Were there any checks in the drawer or any of this?
Not that I know of so far. I have been handed a few deposits that need to be made or the bank cards to be signed so that we can handle them in our office and make sure that they get deposited appropriately and that I can track them easier for the reports. But as far as I know, no.
Okay. Investments. There's a lot of money there.
Yes.
Any irregularities? Is that money where it needs to be?
So as far as the investments, I'm still really digging into those, especially for transfers for capital projects fund.
There's only a couple, right, of transfers.
There's only a couple. They're usually made to cover whatever bills are going to be paid, so they're pretty blatant. You can see them.
The Crossland one, the big one. We remember. Okay.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about the reimbursements to the fund, to the general fund. Anything that, so that we can get a better look at what is in the capital projects, what is remaining in the capital projects.
Debt service payment. So that's where we have had some problems come light on paying bills. Are we paying our debt service payments?
The debt service payments look like they were sent out late. So they are due on March 1st, but it looked like the date was on March 12th. So they were sent out a little bit later. Same everything, yes.
Okay. Wow, to inform.
Are you, the previous director was Quicken, is this Quicken or what system do you use?
To, for our county, it's
QuickBooks, okay. I liked how you split out or working to split out the TDS, so I carried that about 3 weeks ago, so it seems like you're infinitely kind of working towards that thing, so I do appreciate that.
yeah, there's a lot of shared expenses and I'm sure PD wants to know what their budget is, so that they are aware of what they can spend without having to really dig into their, make better decisions on the items that they need.
The last thing, I think this is more a Jennifer question, but we still have a P card or something that had its name on it. Regina's name on it. I have mentioned that to Lynn. It still has not been changed. But she's no longer here. I don't want to have bills coming to her. Can we fix that?
Absolutely, and I've moved to have that corrected. I had an invoice card ordered. We're supposed to be moving everything over onto that.
Okay.
It's my understanding it was a lot of recurring things that were just left on there. So the invoices card was ordered. Regina's was to be canceled, and I will follow up and make sure that's done.
Thank you.
Do we need to bring up the insurance as well? The former employee still on the insurance.
Yes.
So I found on Cigna as well as Principal Insurance, so the eye and dental. We have former employees on there as well that need to be removed.
And they're not in COBRA status, they're in active status.
I think I sent you a note. You were checking on that.
Yes.
And then another, this is a small thing, on page 5, my last name is spelled wrong.
I noticed that when I was taking my notes down, and I'm so sorry about that.
No worries, it's my husband, so you're good.
Another thing I have, I don't know if you guys, we've had to contact us, we had double paid one of those things.
Yes, I have reached out to Luke now,
Okay.
to ask him the best way that he'd like to return them.
Okay.
He has not gotten back to me yet.
Make sure you were.
Yes,
About that, okay.
I'm
When you wait until you come on.
yeah,
So.
yeah, and I'm actively communicating with a lot of the vendors to make sure that I get the information that I need, reaching out to our team to get a little bit better reports so that they're considered input so that you've got a better idea of the revenue and things that are good.
So is it going to be you or Cindy uploading like the invoices and all of the checks?
That would be me. We try to keep everything very centralized because if we have too many hands in it, a lot of things will fall through the cracks. It gets really difficult to try to get a copy of an invoice or things like that. But we're trying to still leave the district with a lot of control. We don't, especially because right now it's a temporary thing, so we don't want to just completely take things away. So we kind of are coming up with a process, the best way to make sure that things don't fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
So the more that I can communicate with getting reports straight to me and to my emails, the better that the information and the data entry will go. So a lot of the deposits our admin will handle so that I'm not doing all of that kind of work and I have more time to focus on really digging into the district, things like that. So few processes, but Cindy has been great help. She's been sending me everything that I need, so.
Yeah, because that's how I noticed the names on Cigna, because we haven't seen that before. I was like, oh, those are names that shouldn't be there. So things were uploaded a little bit differently this month, so
Yeah,
it's actually helpful.
yeah, our normal process is whatever is on this bookkeeping report, you will have the invoices in order of the way it is listed on here. So it's very easy to find.
Yeah.
And we scan everything in, and any backup, whether that's communication with the directors that something got approved, will also be in there. So I'm trying to get that process going and making sure that that you guys have all of that information.
Okay. And then when you check on the Cigna and Principal, can you also check the retirement funds as well? Because those weren't uploaded. So I just want to make sure that there's no former employees hiding in there too.
We're not paying.
Yeah.
To answer some of that, we've had Aaron create a couple of shared drives and shared folders, finance at Elbridge. So we're gonna start having all invoices sent there. Randy will have access. We will too, that way if it becomes, no longer a relationship, we're going to the hiring department, we can still pivot from that, but we want to give them as much access as we can while also still being able to see everything. So if something does come into the office, they'll be sent straight to Brandy or even taken to her, but something that she can have a copy of. So send it on in that way.
Okay, perfect.
And my main focus too is that if you do end up hiring somebody, to take this on full time in-house, that the transition runs extremely smooth and everything is easily available, you can find everything and then they can just pick up from where we left off. So that's my goal, is to get to that point, to make sure that happens.
And you're in office or you're remote?
I have the availability to be both. Do you mean your office or? I have actually been going to see Jennifer a lot.
Very in office.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have the opportunity to work from home or be wherever I need to be. But I have seen a lot of Jennifer. I go in there quite a bit, but she won't be at Elbridge every single day.
Okay.
Have other clients that she's doing work.
I see. Okay, that's what I'm trying to, yeah.
And please let me know if you all ever have any questions or you want to see something different on the report. We are more than willing to accommodate that, and this can always be changed. So if there's something you don't like, if you want to see something more detailed, we'll accommodate you on that. So just reach out to me and I will get that in.
I like this format. I thought it was very clean.
We're gonna get it even better.
We have a motion to approve the bookkeeper's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the bookkeeper's report.
Is it pending changes to?
So I think that, if the questions that are asked impact checks that are going out requires, then yes, they're approving it pending that investigation, but looking into that, figuring that out. That a motion, Brandon?
Yes, I'll restate my motion or accept your amendment either way.
Perfect.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Item 5, consider approval of fire protection service agreement with City of Aubrey.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Mr. President, I would like to table this until we want to go into closed session and they call it equal waived.
Okay, very good. Item 6, I did not put this on here. Discussions of scooters, electric bicycles, and similar transportation.
There was, in my notes, it said, keep on for next month. That's what you guys said, we'll table it for next month. So.
That was great stories.
Okay.
We're trying to different direction, but
Let's come.
other than to push on social media.
Yeah. I think we were gonna develop a flyer, right? That's what we had talked about last month. Yeah.
Push on social media, remind people what you say.
Commentary, spring break, there are definitely more of these around, but nothing just crazy. They seem to be trying to stop at stop signs even some, but and no. One bad post, but it was really more about kids being disrespectful than that they had a scooter and they were.
I'm seeing more of it using on like Dean Dog ditch houses or something. So
Can you patrol that, please?
sure.
I did see some colorful commentary on social media about some kids in the green belt and one of the residents came out and yelled at them or something.
And that is an active ticket and an active concern that they are using bikes and electric bikes in the green belt. The neighborhood seems very split.
Yeah.
Some are very for, some very against, so.
Interesting.
As they extend their bike lane.
Well, you probably saw one on a scooter. I was driving on Magnolia and it was behind me and then all of a sudden it turned on the crosswalk. They get a ticket for that? Or not stopping, it's where. It was like crosswalk by, cop. So it's like, off the sidewalk or the crosswalk. Yeah, and then fast. So there's no speed limit on the crosswalk. We're going pretty fast, we're going faster now.
Those things are fast. They're safe.
It's really stabilized.
That's where I ride.
I'm hearing a great idea. That's why somebody's saying, maybe that's a solution.
So we do not want it on next month's agenda. It's going here from this time.
Not unless they change.
Okay.
We just need to push out that flyer. That's really the only action item.
I've said engineers report.
Good evening, Mr. President and Director. Well, tonight's engineers report, I have nothing to report on item 1A to D. Under the district change orders, we do have a deducted change orders in the amount of $1,029.34. So work were added to the annual street maintenance that was completed last year, which was not officially documented. So after we reconciled the quantities and field measured with the contractor, we identified they were overpaid by this dollar. So they will be issuing, but we are putting measures in place for that not to happen again in the future. That was a painful exercise.
So this is a refund back to us, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Nothing to report on item F through J, and under the engineering project updates, we do expect 100% plans for the Artesia water system improvement design April of this year. And as was discussed about 2 months ago, TCQ denied a variance request for the air gap for the ground storage tank. So we have updated the plans and we submitted to TCQ for review. So we are hoping to get their approval July of this year. So once we get the approval, we will advertise in August and go into construction. And the construction will take about 12 months to complete. As on the opportunity district water line, we are expecting 100% plans May of this year. And dependent on how the easement acquisition goes, we will start construction in December, hopefully completed by March of 27. And the Arrowbrooke parking lot expansion, we do have 60% plans that I'm currently reviewing, and we plan on starting construction July of this year. And it should take about 6 months to finish construction. Under the district and citizens concerns, we received some concerns about some settling on Marietta Lane and Hartsville in Savannah. We had a field visit. We noticed the street itself is not impacted, but there was a curb that was installed, which was serving as a retaining wall. So it's the curb that's failing currently, causing the whole area to settle. So I do have two options for resolving the problem. And I'm not sure if you all had a chance to look at the options that we've provided, and we can have additional discussion on that. And we will be happy to assist in any way that you're aware. That's all I have on post for tonight. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
So I noticed on your Marietta repair, option 1 really doesn't have a cost. It says will be a cheaper fix, but there's no cost.
So it will be just grading work when stabilizing the slope. So it will depend, since it's a small quantity, a little reluctant putting price on it because it will depend on what the estimates will come up with. But we can get estimates for both options, so we have a good idea of how much this will cost.
Yeah, that was really my only concern is, you know, option two is obviously a better option, $20,000. But option one's probably the cheaper option. I just wondered how much cheaper is cheaper, right? Yeah.
Which option do you like?
Honestly, I think I would prefer option two
Hmm.
because at least it will restore it to its original condition and it will be easy to maintain compared to having a steeper slope.
Mhm. Is it 80 linear feet?
Yeah, personally,
It seems like option two is more permanent, right?
yes.
When do we need to decide?
As soon as possible. I think settling may worsen over time, so the sooner we make a decision, the better.
I forget how much one was,
Yeah.
but I like the more permanent idea.
Can we get a quote for one so that we know what we're talking about? Customized. It make it easier for us to make a decision if we have an understanding of how much we'd be saving. You know,
Yeah, I can request for 3 quotes for both option 1 and 2
yeah,
from 3 different contractors. So we know how much we're looking at
Probably best.
realistically.
And then deteriorating, is there an imminent danger or failure of the road, anything we need to worry about?
It's settling, so over time, if nothing is done, it will eat it under the road. Right now, it just stops on the sidewalk. But if nothing is done, the sidewalk will be undermined, which will end up undermining the road too.
But another month is,
The man we should be good.
okay. It's each way.
Yeah, let's make a motion to move that to the next month.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? So we'll get 3 bids and talk about it next month. Any other questions on the engineer report? Oh, I have one. Parking lot construction 6 months for a gravel parking lot.
It shouldn't take 6 months.
Okay,
It shouldn't take 6 months. We normally put some buffers in just in case any delays for whatever reason.
there's no drainage system, right? There's no subsurface drains.
Yeah, everything is
Grading,
subsurface. Yeah. There is no subsurface, everything is surface, right? Yeah.
Is this gonna include a sidewalk along Arrowbrooke Ave? Because currently we have that one that just stops.
It's not, we did not include the sidewalk in this scope, but we'll be happy to include it and that's what the board wants.
With this construction too, is this gonna move the placement of the dumpster? Because we're having major issues with that dumpster and the gravel parking lot that we currently have.
Yeah, we were looking at relocating the dumpster. So we would have to coordinate that with Jennifer to find
coordinate.
a good location for it. But that came up during the preliminary study for the site.
Okay, yeah, because it's,
Circuit.
yeah, the
It's
truck is sinking.
The trash truck is too heavy for the gravel drive.
infrastructure, yeah, okay. Any kind of sidewalk are we talking about?
The existing is about 5 or 6 feet.
The linear feet of what she's talking about, how many feet are we?
I'm not sure for the top of my.
Is that 3 feet or 5
Yeah,
feet?
no, but is it a couple hundred feet or is it?
It's from Arrowbrooke Avenue. It has to go almost all the way down to Pleasant.
Okay,
It's a decent amount. But it's also not finished without it.
Where's the dumpster currently?
The dumpster's currently in the side of the part of the lot that's already there. The gravel isn't really safe gravel,
Right.
so
Oh, okay. I never talked about that.
just next to the ruts where the trash truck's being we
Yeah.
attempted to remedy that. It seems to have helped a little bit. I do also think part of the problem will be relieved
overall as well, but I think the irrigation system is draining to where that trash can is. So if we were to relocate it and move it, maybe that would be an issue, but I have a feeling this section will be better engineered and the base will be put in properly. So.
I don't think we can wait until next year.
No, we're gonna have to, we're gonna have to make, even if we remove it for now and maintenance carries trash to another location, but it's not working. Because what happens is it sinks. You can't shut the gates, then you get illegal dumping, and then they can't dump the dumpster because there are TVs on top of the dumpster. So it just,
So now they've moved the dumpster outside of the fenced area, and then in the fenced area, there's just a ton of trash. So,
and that's happened in the last 2 to 3 days.
yeah.
What about this year's road repair? Have we started on this? What,
I just sent an email to.
Yeah, 5 minutes, yeah. Yeah, I think she was asking about that and, you know, what we're gonna have the budget for it. It's to try to start to think about what roads are gonna be used in that. So maybe this month should start looking at that, what that project is gonna be. Let's go.
when we get to Artesia, I think the Artesia HOA president, just the drainage of these roads, I want to be in on those meetings at least once. Please.
We actually have a drainage issue in Arrowbrooke. What would that be? Arrowbrooke Ave and Lakeside. It gets flooded there pretty bad. Yeah, even just the sprinklers.
The Artesia one is right on the main road, that's the bridge.
And we'll get the Artesia next month, right?
Yes.
So I kind of want to see that.
This road separation with Marietta Lane, is that something that can come out of the road repair budget?
Yeah. You can allocate it where to, right? Yes, that's fine.
And then Randy, if you could possibly look at the Arrowbrooke Park budget, we were supposed to have, I think it was last year, $500,000 for improvements. I want to say on your book, right? It had, I think the budget for it was 500, but then there's one line that says 500 and then a little farther down on that page it says 300. So if you could just look at how much is actually there.
Yeah. It's supposed to be some revenue to offset that too, which I don't think we've had.
I'm just wondering if we would have enough for the sidewalk.
I can get an estimate for the site week. That will help in the decision making.
Could you back up to the water tower? You mentioned TCAQ rejected our application. Was that substantial or why did they get?
No, so CCQ do require an air gap for ground storage tanks. So the gap requirements, we were trying to see if we could waive that because that was at about 18 inches to the height of the tank.
Oh, okay.
So we were hoping they had approved it on some previous projects. So we were trying to see if we could get lucky. They said no. So we have to increase the tank height by 2 feet, and we still working with the tank manufacturer to see how much it will add to the prices. Localization and everything else should be pretty much the same. It's just the additional height.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions for the engineer? Got a motion to accept the engineer's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the engineer's report.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ray, operators report regarding Artesia water utility. Good.
First page is total tons pumped from for the month. Daily amounts. Second page is hard road pump hours. Everything ran. Expected. And a hill, slow country. Till station pump hours, everything looked good there. No issues with any of the pumps. And this next page is daily chlorine residuals, tank levels, and PSIs, pressures. Daily. Everything was normal.
Filled out correctly?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Next page is the daily residuals. Those 28 days that we flushed 31 sites every month. So on the last day, we just made up the difference. Everything looked good. And here are back key samples, 6 from the lab. Everything passed. And we did correct the issue with the harvest that never brought our attention. Appreciate that. That was a mistake on my part. But we even did get the previous months. Yeah. So that was resolved. Everything looked good with back tees and this next page is the generator report. They all ran every week. Their test cycle, everything looked good. Everything runs properly. And then last, we had 28 daily inspections of the facilities. Our rate of 2, 31 daily chlorine residuals, checked in 28 days, 1 check for leak, 2 pump station maintenances, changing out bottles on the analyzers. And meter division, they said 2 bolt hangers, 1 meter leak repair, 5 meter rereads, 8 new occupancy start reads, 5 non-payments, 10 service disconnects, 11 service disconnects. One of those supposed to connect. 1 verify meter reading and 1 meter accuracy check.
We did have a meeting as well with the their salesman to get some pricing, start putting together an idea with like for meter replacements and Artesia. I included that information for you guys. I think the most important thing to take away from this is if we were to do the entire neighborhood around time, you would be looking at roughly $620,000 just for the major purchases themselves. It would increase our monthly service fees to run the data. These are cell rates, so they send the information multiple times an hour, twice an hour, but the 16 times an hour it gets data and it sends it to the customer and to the provider. So our monthly service for that would be about $1,800. And then installation, just an idea that we would probably need to use a third party if we were going to do a full, take out replacement. Salina would have the staff to do that on top of operating the system. So we would be directly looking at about $158,000 to a third party contractor. We could shop that around. That's just a budget. But my recommendation would be, if you look further on page 3 here, to do 500 meters at a time, you're looking at $168,000. The monthly hosting fee would only be a $500 increase per 500. So we could save into that. And your installation fees would be closer to $40,000. So I recommend we take a look at these numbers. We can also shop other meter providers. This is just a good starting point to see where we're at for budget design. Shop this for workshop data. And I would recommend that if we are to stage into that, that we would start at that 500 to 600 mark, because in Artesia currently, we have 471 meters that have over 1 million gallons of usage already. And then we have 83 with 2 million and up, and 48 with 3 million gallons used and up. So we would recoup quite a bit of that money just on the meters as they age, they slow. So you're not gathering correct billing information. So that would really kind of help offset that price. But you're looking at about 602 that are really past what you consider operational life. And those are the ones that are having such a hard time for the reads and rereads and constantly having to work with those. There would be some extra cost if we got into the situation during the replacement. That project price is strictly just taking the meter out and putting a new one in. But if there needs to be a repair to the curb stop, or if the meter box itself needs to be replaced, there are additional charges for those. So I really recommend that I will continue to shop prices on all of that, and we'll get really hard numbers for our data for budget season. And we look at possibly replacing those 600 next year and staging what that program would look like. So line was extremely helpful, putting all the numbers together that it rates with.
That monthly service fee, I guess I hadn't thought that was a factor. So I've seen that on paper, but it sounds to me like that has some potential to go up over time, right?
It does, yes. That would be a contract with the providers. So their fees could increase with technology needs. Because it's data, right? So it's the cellular data.
And if you do it less than 15 times a day, would that save us money?
I don't think there's an option. I can ask.
Okay, yeah, I just looked, 15 seems a little bit extreme, like maybe 2-3 times a day or something.
Right. Yep, I can find out.
Well, again, for the size of 600 or 2 of the rest of them, how much further along you think those are before they need to be replaced?
I can get a report ran for that. I honestly don't know, but I can find out. I know those were the ones that were, certainly past useful age. That's what you're considering. But I can certainly find out.
Exactly how many years is a meter good for?
They have a 10-year warranty.
So
So I think 10.
20 almost.
Yes, so they're, the mine's of 2018, it's still good. Should be.
Should be, yes.
And if it did go out, it would be some warranty on those.
And these folks that have the 3 million meters, when they get a new one, is their water bill going to go up?
It's gonna be your age. Large meters that are pumping out more water.
Okay,
A lot of those are, those are irrigation meters typically when they have that kind of usage. But yes, there
I
are.
can handle it. It's gonna be the whole time. Start getting water bills that are.
It will increase. That will be a social media and invitational. Please don't hate us if your bill goes up.
How many balance did you say there were?
600.
Ooh, okay, I was gonna say, yeah, definitely attack those first, but I was thinking there was like 100, 200.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, that too.
okay, never mind.
But yeah, just based on usage and age, 600 too.
it's time to do this. I like the phasing it in. It's,
So in the short term, and of course, on the customer side, they won't see the back end of the interaction, but on our side, we'll be running 2 systems to be able to read meters, or will they interact on the same software? It's gonna be 2 systems from what I'm
It's gonna
seeing.
be 2 systems.
Okay.
Correct. And we also are going to have a conversation. We're on Logix and you guys are on. They use a different system to read. So they're actually, when they log into Elm Ridge, they have to come completely out of the Solana system. So
They can log into the Elmer system.
So we're going to talk about what that would look like in this process, transfer that over.
Yeah, I think this is a good starting point for sure. We definitely got to build a plan around this, but it's not going to hurt to get some other quotes from others, meter manufacturing services, and
Absolutely.
see where we end up at for a plan.
any more questions? Do I have a motion to accept the operating report?
A motion to accept the operating report.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Discuss that, number 9, discuss status of acquisition of easements relative to construction of the water.
Mr. President, I'd also ask that we table this, those things to close session to discuss.
Okay. Discuss regional water system and future development.
Yeah, the earlier Nancy Giovanni had brought this up a couple of months ago, just all the development that's going on. Water usage, start bringing the spring and summer now with irrigation, water shortages, and that kind of wanted to know from Artesia what their plan is for this future growth. Your Artesia system and Savannah and Arrowbrooke all have guaranteed capacity already in that, and so that can be taken away from you guys. But how does the future development impact just the system as a whole? I talked to Jason Pierre, the Trinity, to meet with a couple of directors to kind of run through their procedures and processes, how they plan for the future, what the plan is for the future, just to get board a better idea of what that is. I open up obviously to Keith, but let's discuss. But just let me know when you guys want to set that up. And the directors want to sit in on that. I think it would be a good exercise.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'll do it. Whoever wants to join me. And if you guys want to do it, let me know.
I'd love to go to.
No problem.
Need a motion.
You can if you wanted to assign a committee or just say have fun and get some report with you back.
Yeah, if no one else is interested, I'm interested. I get that question from residents a lot. And it's
Okay.
annoying that we don't really have a great answer other than we lack capacity. I mean, we as in Upper Trinity lacks capacity. It's good to say they're doing something about it, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'd like a better answer too. I get annoyed when we go into restrictions and the lakes are full. That's my own pet peeve. That would be my question for them, but you two guys want to go. That sounds great.
Okay, I will do with Jason and get with you guys. Still works your schedule and you general.
Item 11, the GM report.
Changes daily, so. Our maintenance operators first day will be Monday, March 24th, this coming Sunday. And just in the nick of time, we'll be training on the new building the first week of April. So. Possibly the second. We're telling him the first week, that way we for sure have him there, no matter what. He actually came in yesterday, put in the rest of his paperwork, and we're able to torch it and take a look at it. So that's really nice. We did purchase the truck that was budgeted for. And with the trade-in values at the other district, the 2 trucks, the GMC and the Ranger, we were well under the budget. So that was really nice. Chief helped very, very much with that. Very appreciative of that. They really reached out with their contacts and made sure we got a great deal. And
What did we get? I didn't see
we
that.
got a big Ford. It is an F-250 long bed. It is not 4-wheel drive. Not really necessary on pavement. But it's a 4-door, so it'll have plenty of room to the tools. It will be heavy enough to pull the trailer without blowing a transmission with the tractor on it. So that was the most necessary.
I saw that and I figured you had gotten that all lined up. So
Yeah, so they were extremely the whole day. Yeah, we've got the decals ordered and sitting all those on the sides. Came in at 24.
Yeah, that was when that would have been about 24. The purpose of
Right.
45 for vanilla F-250 is gas. Is gas.
the truth is you can get cheap. I'm trying to say truck. Autos are my business and trucks are not cheap. Yeah, that is not a cheap truck. I looked at it.
I've got a big truck to pull my RV, but I'm gonna tell you now, I'm glad we did this the way that we did, because we didn't have a need for 4-wheel drive. There's not necessarily a need for the added expense for diesel with what we're dealing with and what we're towing, so. And a 250 like that strips down, that'll easily tow 18,000 pounds, so that's not an issue, because mine tows over 18,000, and it's gas. Yeah, it's over enough for that tractor. So I know, because I had to pull a tractor up to my property, so if that's perfect. So we made a good decision there.
Are we getting more flags for that as well?
Are we getting on? Sorry.
Like the work lights?
Yes, we'll be doing the work lights and we'll be putting a toolbox in the back too. So, and which since we came so under a budget, we'll be able to use some of the funds for that. Which will be nice. We have started on cleanup projects for spring for continuing Arrowbrooke Park, but also in the district rebuilds in Savannah. We've had a lot of blown down limbs, obviously from the winds, street signs as well. So all of those things have really taken attention, making sure that we're removing anything. We've had a few trees that have blown over onto fences. Luckily, no major damage, but we were able to get them off or cause any more issues. The parking lot outside, my day-to-day update there. At the beginning of the week, it looked great, and the repairs were holding well until they came with the trash truck. So it has ruts again. I'm going to bring recommendations on what we could do to move on that before, obviously, the construction of the next parking lot is going to have to be addressed. So we want to make sure we can actually get the trash dumped without trash on top of it. For neighborhood update events in the West, I will be at the Artesia annual meeting by invitation next week on March 25th to speak and network with residents. Chief Kennedy and Officer Trigon will also be there, and they will be speaking as well, just so we can kind of meet residents face to face. I have updated the correct announcement for spring trash days in the neighborhoods. Savannah is on April 5th. 12th and Arrowbrooke is April 26th. That has all been correct in the postings online, and with the HOAs, I just have the incorrect information in my report last month.
Are they doing paint chemicals and all that stuff as well as the bulk trash?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure. I had Savannah on the 19th today
They asked for it to be moved
to the 5th.
to the.
Okay, as long as certain.
Yeah, that's the 5th. Yeah, that was what I had. I still had the old date when I announced it last month, but it was incorrect.
Gotcha.
We have 9 to 3.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's the time. Yes.
Those are the 9 to 12.
For the result.
Yeah, those are the 9 to 12.
Oh, we got COVID. Yeah.
Reach out.
Okay.
And on the chemicals and like fluorescent bulbs and all that, do they give us any limitations this year that we need to post, or is it open?
I'm not certain on that, and I will get you that information. We'll have to post it as well.
Yeah, if there's any limitations on like the amount of paint or oil or anything, let's make sure to get that and get that posted.
Okay, and I'll send it to the HOA.
Yep.
That way they have it. Okay. For trash collection services, updated issues in the month of February, we only had 2 reports of missed pickups. It came down significantly from the ice storm, and they were really on point. We did have a resident submit a ticket regarding a broken tree limb, and they really were asking for an apology from Waste Connections. Waste Connections did reach out. They were trying to get some information so that they could gather their video footage to determine if that was damage they caused or not. And the residents, they did not connect. So the issue hasn't been pushed forward. The resident came in and also entered the information on the tickets online, but didn't give an address on that. So there was a lot of just missing information. So if there's any update to that, I'll let you all know. That's follow up on.
If the trash truck's breaking the tree limb, that tree limb's probably too low.
Correct.
Correct.
The resident did state when they came in that the tree limb was nowhere near where the trash cans were and that it wasn't too low, but the trash trucks do have video. So it could be clear one way or the other. And it very well could have been an Amazon truck or someone else too, but if it wasn't, then it was in the roadway at some point. So,
With Rhino, we would have very detailed discussions about all of the challenges they had, and to miss, the weather was tough. It was weather stuff.
and I will say, I did get a notification when I had this publicly. I did get a notification just a few moments ago that today was bulk in Artesia, and they would not get all of the bulk picked up, but they will have a truck out tomorrow to pick up what's left. So it's just a thought. I think they
I didn't start any hours, so I don't know. But they pick my trash up at 8 o'clock, and you better have it out. Maybe, and it's at the same time every day now. Recycling is usually kind of late, like 4 or 5. But it's more. That was my other thing with Rhino. It was whenever. It would be early, and usually they get in a routine. Your trash can usually comes about the same time.
And they've been really good at sending us end of day reports. That's how I know that happens. They report most of the time on their end of day reports.
And they're picking it up tomorrow.
Yes, I'll try to. Thank you. For the fire department, for call and service in Savannah, we had 37 in February. Artesia had 12, and Arrowbrooke had 17. That is the end of my report.
Chief Butler, do you have anything to add on the fire?
On that trash can, if we move that, I'm not aware what the procedure would be. Do we have to call anybody or how does that work?
So we'll just have to work with Waste Connections to figure out where we can put that in their truck and access it.
Okay, there's no like permit or TCEQ approval or.
Not for a dumpster like that. It's
So need a pad, like next to the road.
Yeah.
next to the road would be ideal. But I'll get pricing for that.
Think about Arrowbrooke Park.
So
Arrowbrooke Park, I'm sure.
Wasn't the new building anymore?
Yes.
It was, so.
Do that one.
that is very much the line of thinking I'm in right now. We have a great new truck. I don't know if you heard that, with a long bed on it. Trash can be put into it and turned over to whatever dumpster. Clearly no. There you go. We're not around landing right now.
Yes.
More questions for the general manager? Don't actually, but we don't, let's see. Do I have a motion to accept the GM report?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Don't go anywhere. Consider and review and approval of landscape proposals.
Well, you are all aware, we received notice that our current company, would be servicing us, so I reached out to different companies. One didn't respond, so if they were not interested, but we did have two great companies, both representatives made me feel confident either way. One company that was the lowest is Arrowbrooke, and they actually just will be starting with Arrowbrooke to be servicing all the HOA accounts and properties. So they are familiar with Arrowbrooke for sure, and Arrowbrooke Park. And I watched part with both contractors with whatever maps of the district, all the areas that they were servicing, and went through the thoroughness of this is how many times we at least expect it. Of course, we could add to what we wanted, but we kind of went on the basis of what the original contract was with the current company. So Earth Tones has bid, you look take a look at that. Their monthly total for Arrowbrooke Park would be $5,613.50 for a yearly total of $67,362. And then for the Savannah district maintenance, that would be $7,795.25 for a yearly total of $93,543. So their bid was significantly lower than site, which also, again, was very pleased with the interactions of all of their staff. They were needed to get information back, and they are the current providers of Savannah HOA's landscaping. And I do see them present constantly in Savannah. So I know that their work ethic is high as well. The district did use sites previously. We did have an agreement with them. I'm not sure the years that was, that they were obviously extremely knowledgeable about the district property versus HOA property and about, the standards that was expected to be at. Their pricing, and they do, if you take a look at the invoices, they did put tax on here, but it was broken down so you could do it without. So for Arrowbrooke Park, their annual pricing would be $128,449, with roughly about $10,704 a month to maintain the park.
Wow.
And for Savannah's district property, they were at $10,114.86 a month, which is $121,378. So there is a significant price difference.
It's a project.
Well, it was the same, but if you look,
Frequency of treatments and it's very similar.
it's very similar.
And the price of that was
And I will say, I have a feeling, because if you look at what we were paying the current company, I think I know why they no longer want to contract with us. I think they under did it. We're only paying them a little over 5,000 a month for both split. So I think on at least the Savannah side, and we're probably losing money. So either company, I feel really confident moving forward with, but pricing based a significant difference.
Yeah, that was my question. I mean, it's like almost double for site. I know site knows what they're getting into, so
That is,
earth tones, yeah. Don, why, do you know why y'all dumped site previously? Why you dumped site previously? Was it just cost or did y'all have issues?
and that made me think too, that because of their knowledge of, the scope of the work that they're bid.
I mean, site does have, if you look at their operations, they're a pretty large company. They've got significant overhead. There's a lot of things that go into that, trucks, equipment, the replacement of equipment, if you talk to anybody that works for site. So I don't know how big Earth Tones is, and what their overhead is like. So, that can have something to do with pricing a lot of times. And you deal with significant overhead. So, site does a great job. I don't know much about this for Tones. So, is there any did you get any references?
I was actually referred by Sloan, who's the general manager at Artesia now. She actually referred to them. Now that is not who Artesia is using, but she could use them in past management properties.
Okay.
So that's how she knew about them.
They manage Frisco Lakes.
Earth Tones does?
No,
The other name.
yeah. Do these guys do?
She didn't say specifically the property she had partnered with them on or worked with them on.
I guess my concern is just we get a map so they know what they're doing, because in the past when the water is moved from site to whoever, it seems like it was like, no, we didn't do that, that's HOA, and there was a lot of finger pointing, and I would hate to relive that again. So as long as we're eyes wide open with this is what we expect you to do.
In the last set of contracts we had, when we renegotiated, we had the drawings and the maps with the breakouts. We provide that as a part of the, okay.
Will these include the mowing that Bucky occasionally does? I know last time they said they can't get close enough to the pond, so he does it.
This doesn't include that. It should usually be added into their contract, but we're adamant that they have the equipment necessary that they could do that. But I just based this solely off of the contract that we currently had. With the maintenance person, I think a lot of that cost will be cut down too, and being able to cover that. But there are some areas that are in between the ponds, the facilities, and whatnot that is so hard to reach.
I think it'd be nice to have just one person to get it.
Everybody's taking action. It's good to know.
When do they need to start? Like when do they?
So our last contract date is April 10th with the current company.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth trying it out with their tones. If it doesn't work, I think we can pivot to side or somewhere else.
But we just make sure that, make sure Jonathan reviews the contract. So
That's what I was gonna say. Whatever motion you guys make, I would also include in your authorization to prepare a service contract and to have district president sign it.
Yeah.
Before the, because if we meetings, I would have that done point. Yeah, and it'll be a similar service contract that we have right now. We have a template for it. So
1 year contract.
I think it's actually,
self-renewing.
well, it'll be self-renewing, but I'm pretty sure you can terminate it 30 days notice whenever you want.
Okay.
It's not like you're trying to use it. That's the way I'm pretty sure ours is tracking.
What, 30 days? Do they only have to give us 30 days?
Well, I'm speaking, I can't remember if it's 30 or 60 or like.
Then they did give us a 6-day notice to get issued that I didn't there.
For 30 day time. Sure.
Let you give it.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And if that's the case, I would make the motion to move forward with or funds pending development of this first contract and reviewed by our attorney and allow the president to sign. Prior to, so vice president, yeah, president or vice president to sign, prior to the next meeting if necessary.
Sorry.
Also,
All in favor? Any opposed? Very good. Thank you for that. Number 13, discuss our teaching bridge improvement.
I really, first of all, wanted to just kind of give you guys an idea of this, of what needs to be done and get kind of a direction from you all on how you would like to go so that we get some firm pricing and action taken on it. So I don't know if everybody has seen it, but the finish on the bridge for the major repairs is not completed. So that's what we're discussing is what type of finish and what the pricing is still like for that. We don't want to do anything too thick because we get right back in the same problem where it's overlapping the sidewalk and residents are squeezed in between the sidewalk and the barrier there. So a couple of different price breakdowns and average from two quotes. And this is an idea of what it would look like. But if we were to just stucco or to use like a mortar finish on that, a nice finish, you're looking at right under $10,000 for labor and the stucco finish. To put any type of mortar with a rock on there, even if it's like a thinner, even like a flagstone to try to match. And this is the other issue is the other side of the bridge does still have the original stone. So we're not going to be able to match that exactly because it's the thicker Austin stone. But to do like a flagstone, you're looking at $8,800 in that ballpark, just for labor. And then whatever rock weight price would be on top of that. So to finish out just the stucco style, you're looking 10,000. You're at almost 9,000 just for labor to put rock on without the material.
Have we looked at that spray on limestone? That spray limestone?
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, so they use it on houses a lot of times. They can pattern and color it whatever you want. And it's basically a liquefied limestone that hardens into concrete. So not to get into the detail of it, but I've used it at the house I've been down and back. I know there's a lot of people that have. I don't know if it's good for this application, but it's not overtly expensive. So, and you can make it look like whatever you want. They can pattern it, they can color it, they can do all of that stuff. Is that something that might allow us to match, depending on the spray, match what's on the backside, without having to add thickness to the sidewalk?
And that's really the direction I wanted to see what your thoughts are on it.
Not stone. That's too much money, and it doesn't have to be stone. Stucco would look okay. It would look, if it's the right color, it'll look fine. You won't hardly even notice it. If there is a commercial product like Director Foley was talking about, that would be something new. So from Wolfpack, that's what I was asking for. Say, what do you have that would be good here? And he came back with stucco. So I don't know if we have the answer to that.
Research on that for options.
And I can see, I'll go back to my invoicing for my house. Try to get that company headquartered.
Is that something that the new guy can handle if it's spray on? It seems to me that'd be pretty easy.
Yes.
You'd have to expect the licensing and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a certain technique too.
Yeah, the first time you do something like that, you're a beginner. We don't want a beginner result. We want a pro.
Yeah. Have you had any feedback from people in Virginia about
it? President Denk wants some, but there's not room for it, and I don't agree. Some stucco thing or this limestone thing sounds great if it's durable and can be colored and has some texture. Something interesting.
they want to match what's on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just look, right? There's nothing.
Yeah,
You get all the structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is good.
It's cosmetic.
This is and if you go too thin, you were right back in the same issue that we addressed.
It needs to be a coating of some sort.
Well, I'll gather more information.
So we'll table that till next time, no action. Number 14, discuss use of Arrowbrooke Park. Become specific.
Well, I think we need to talk about what we're going to do with 3A sports. And the other team sports that want to use the fields, whether we want long-term contract, short-term contract, because their seasons going to be starting soon. We have, as far as liability goes, I'm not as worried about, I like to have some place, but we do have immunity for some certain things. And so I'm not that worried about that, but you need to start figuring out who gets to use it, who gets to use it, how many teams are using leagues or using it. When you think about the Arrowbrooke residents, then being able to use it to kind of, obviously it's a board decision, I guess, we'll move forward, but we need to kind of determine what we're going to do.
How much you're gonna pay.
Well, how much they're going to pay, and, I know that Felicia and Brandon had it working on it. Jennifer's met with some of the team, or the leagues, so what's going to be our policies?
So where are we then? How do we feel about 380 sports? You want to keep them?
I think we can look at a short-term contract. Year. So I don't want to go beyond years, 1 year on these contracts.
I thought somebody had contracts, like who,
The cricket team had a contract.
Is there 4 leagues that are on contract or 2?
So
You know,
the only league I know of that has a signed contract is the cricket league. Now, at the top of their contract, it does say 003. So that tells me some point, maybe 2 others might have had one, but they're the only ones that have been in contract with it actually have a signed agreement.
So, I mean, from my standpoint, we go 1 year. One of my concerns, and I sat in a couple of those meetings, and, some of the leagues, I felt like we wanted to place restrictions where it's a public park, and I understand them wanting to use it, but, at the end of the day, as long as we know when they're going to use it and can post it and be fair about it, that's fine. They're not going to run off the public from using the park because, and say, well, we need it to be in this specific shape because it's a public park. They're not going to get it in tournament fashion if it's a public park. And they can pay tournament prices if they want a tournament condition field. That's my standpoint on it, because we're not going to keep tournament condition fields for 380 sports or anyone else. So I don't mind doing a short-term contract and setting up a reasonable price. I mean, for the day or for the tournament, based on what we're offering, but it's not going to go more than a year from my perspective. And this way we can see, what they're doing, how they're managing things, and then they're not doing what we want. We're done with it at the end of the year, and they can find someplace else.
so is the current contract expiring?
They didn't have a signed contract.
They didn't have a contract.
380 didn't. The cricket league
Cricket league
does.
it doesn't expire until July 14th.
From this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Jonathan, have you seen that contract before?
The first time I saw it was when she sent it.
So we don't know where,
I don't know. I don't.
like who wrote it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Correct.
Was there anything alarming in there?
I honestly haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I will look.
Because my thing is I think we should have one standard contract for everyone and not have special treatment.
Yeah. Agree. I mean, it should be a single contract. I think there should be, if they're going to be running concessions, there should be cost sharing on concessions. There should be, where we're getting some money out of concessions because we built that there. There should be, what they're going to supply and the detail what we're going to supply, if anything, and it all needs to be detailed out. But
well, we didn't even know about that contract though, right?
No,
So,
we didn't know it.
and we didn't know anything about payments, so I'm paranoid that we're gonna have other contracts wash out of the woodwork that we don't know about.
if people come to us and they say, hey, we supposedly, then we need to ask them, well, fine, bring us the contract. We need to see it. I mean, we just need to be upfront with them. Somebody comes up and says, hey, I've got a contract to be here. Where's your contract?
And that was a photocopy of the one that they were given.
Yeah.
And it was signed by Rob.
I mean, at the end of the day, I agree. We need to have a standardized contract that details out everything. But we need to limit these, year by year, season by season, however we want to do it. And we can't have 2 and 3 and 4 leagues playing the same day where public doesn't have access to the park at all ever over a weekend because we got 20 leagues playing and we're not going to maintain tournament level, we're not going to maintain tournament level fields for somebody that wants to play on a public park. It's just not going to happen.
Well, 380 is not paying anything, right? They're not paying anything.
They were
They're
supposed to.
supposed to.
Yeah,
They're supposed to pay,
Well-
I thought the deal was we just get a cut of.
there was a cut of concessions in the discussion we had, and then they were doing maintenance work and stuff on the fields to help. So that was the supposed trade-off, and that was supposed to be in a contract. And, they provided a copy of unsigned contract. That wasn't signed by the district, so they provided us with a copy of an unsigned contract. And that they're part of why we're going through this exercise right now, is we need to be able to get all this stuff documented and nailed down and have a standardized contract for all this. And determine if we're gonna do it at all long term. But I think short term, we try it, but under our conditions.
A little bit late in the game. I'd like to have a little bit better understanding of their finances. My instinct is this isn't a big money maker for anybody, right? The 380 sports thing. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
They're
really
paid.
you know, money makers, just, they'd be paying for the cost that we would have to maintain it based on their.
no, if they were making big money and getting our park for free,
Oh,
I'd have a problem with that.
They're a nonprofit. Most of those types of leagues are not profit leagues for the
Mm.
kids. They're not profit, but they're also, there's not a lot of, my son used to play in a league like that. They're like select leagues, they're nonprofit. You have people, they do it for the community. And then everybody that's in the league shares the cost. So whatever the tournament costs are, if they want to buy equipment as a part of playing in that league, whatever it is. It's not that it's a money maker, but what they do is they budget for what their costs are going to be. And then they split that cost out amongst everyone that plays in that league. So everyone that plays in it pays whatever that breakdown is, so that they can pay for the umpires, rent the fields, all of this equipment.
This is how you think it works.
No, that is how it works.
380. You know how 380 works.
That's how those leagues work. 380
Okay.
does some of the same stuff. They charge their people and they do the same thing. They're just not paying Elmridge right now. We were supposed to get a share of the concessions and they told us that, and they were maintaining the field.
Get some.
But
check
they're-
as Rob was-
Everything else runs the same way as what I just explained for them.
Rob did say we were supposed to get part of the concessions and then one tournament, but there's no record of it. So
Yeah, I think there was a check for concessions for some small, he made a big deal about it, but it's, okay, so what do we want to do? What kind of arrangement do we want to offer them for 1 year? Start with 380, we talked about Christian, and those are the only two that we have to, that we know.
I have been contacted on the SCRIP forum this week about another league asking, how do you access field use as a first come first serve? So someone else is interested in practicing or playing on it for sure.
and we do have the adult soccer league that I think is on Mondays now.
But I have not made contact yet.
I think, if you guys are amenable, I'd make the motion. You guys are already working on a park. So if maybe have Jonathan, the attorney, look at what the cricket league has as baseline and what he would suggest as a baseline contract. And then since you guys are working on the park anyway, why not take a look at the contract to see if it makes sense to standardize that? And you guys can work on what the park's contract would look like if we're going to rent out those parks, then, since you're working on the, parks policies anyway. And so I would make the motion that Felicia and Brandon work with Jonathan on a standardized contract while they're working on park, since they're working on park policies.
What was the timeline again for three?
Yeah, that's the
I didn't catch that.
Saturday.
It starts Saturday morning.
Great, okay.
I think we can figure out how to address
they're gonna start, I'm not worried about.
Yeah.
Having a big contract and I want to, but for liability purposes, I'm not concerned about that. So if we hand it up as soon as possible, I guess, so the idea would be to have something ready for the next meeting. Yeah. Or, and then also whatever, with 380. And when we did meet with 380, we had asked for a list or details on what they do and what they expect. Because we need a better, not that we're gonna concede to what they
I think
expect.
they emailed that to us, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Aubrey.
Okay.
Who were you meeting from over there talking to? You actually.
Their president and a few of the staff members.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gary Pearson.
I don't know that we're in a position to do anything more than what the motion is proposed is anyway. I'd like to get it done, but it's, so we have a motion. Do we have seconds?
Also,
What's the motion?
Felicia and Brandon work with Jonathan on a standardized contract since they're already developing our policies.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
and so with that also, did you want to discuss the cricket team leaving out their turf?
Yes, so they asked when I met with them for 2 things. They wanted a renewed contract in July because they want to continue our next thing that we're under this process where we'll notify them once we have county policies and an agreement in place that we can do it. They also asked if they could leave out an AstroTurf mat that they use to cover the sidewalk that they use for their pitch. So they run down it, they roll the ball on it. And it is, I mean, it's just a huge AstroTurf road that's heavy. So right now they roll it up and they keep it inside concession stand building. That's the only reason they access the building at all. But they would like to not have to carry it because it's so heavy. So they would like to leave it out permanently. They did understand that weather and tear and kids riding bikes, people driving, all of those things, you know, we would not be responsible for. I did ask if it was safe to run on, and they said that's how they play, is they run on that portion. But for safety issues, I don't know that, you know, it's drizzled outside, that it's safe to run on that versus concrete, but they did ask that I bring that to you all.
I run over there. My instinct would be to say no, for liability reasons, because if you were to go off of the sidewalk, you're not gonna see where the sidewalk is with that turf on it, and we already have kind of
Well,
gapping.
they're gonna leave it covering the side,
They want to leave it out perfectly
but leave it all covering the
on
side.
the sidewalk.
They utilize the entire field and the sidewalk when they play. Like, you can't even run down that sidewalk when they're playing. They take over.
And they have access to the,
They do, as part of their agreement, they had to keep the building.
okay, no.
Is there a middle ground, not put it in the building, but not leave it over the sidewalk and it's somewhere else?
Dumpster.
Yeah.
They take it home with them. I mean, I don't think they're responsible for storing in our building either. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, no, as far as I'm concerned, that's a hard drive. It's,
Cause then you have to think if 380 Sports is coming to paint the fields, like that's just another obstacle for them. They're already complaining about them moving bleachers, like. Again, this isn't their park, it is.
Yeah.
Right.
and what's next? Somebody else is gonna come to us and go, hey, you know, we got this, we want to leave it out, you know, since they can leave their AstroTurf out on your sidewalk, can we leave this out here?
Yeah, can I just park my scooter here permanently?
The answer, yeah, I mean, yeah, I would motion that we go back and tell them, no, we're not gonna allow them to keep their AstroTurf on our sidewalk.
I guess beyond that, just I had, you know, obvious safety concerns, but vandalism too, you know, if somebody burns it up, you know, I didn't want them coming to us and saying, hey, this is your responsibility, right?
Started graffiti on the sidewalk, so, yeah, that's good.
So we have a motion to tell them no to rise.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Any opposed?
Then further, I know this discussion has been back and forth, that maybe this is part of the policies, to put cameras on the concession stand or zero the area. So if that is something that you guys want to move forward with, let me know, because we'll need to use Wi-Fi to make those active. So we'll need to have something out there. So.
Do we have power in the? Okay, so yeah, it seems like that should be pretty cheap.
Yeah.
For people breaking into that?
We have vandalism, we have graffiti, the concept of the bathrooms, if those in the policy would be left open, so maybe a camera would make it safer.
Didn't I say we were gonna put, we don't have some.
Yeah.
We have some.
Yeah, Aaron, I,
So we want to upgrade the cameras a little better cameras, is that what we're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, rate cameras should be pretty cheap.
Yeah, so she said we could sign up for building security system.
You understand how to log in on the building cameras, they'll all can see. So I don't know what the cost of that knowledge, but that would be something that's cost effective to add cameras onto that system, that would wear the PD, we just pull up the system for all of our cameras. and we can see the apartments.
It's just, yeah, you can do that easily. Just doesn't cost much because you already, yeah, it's just the cost of the Wi-Fi. It doesn't cost anything else. We use Verkada at my regular job, so that doesn't even cost anything extra.
Great idea. TV can see the car.
Yeah, but speaking of that, reminded me, have we collected all the keys and changed the locks yet?
So I have the locks, I have not installed them yet. I'm waiting for Monday for that to be done.
That's fine. I just wanted to see if we were, because I want to get, while we're going through this, I want to make sure we've collected all those keys and we've changed the locks in case there's any outstanding pieces.
Yes, as of 5 p.m. on Monday, that would be.
Perfect. And then just let 3A Sports know we're working on a contract so that they can expect that.
and that the locks are changing.
Yeah, and
Make sure that
I'm not sure about the certificates.
Need a motion for camera, please.
I don't,
She's gonna look into camera.
I mean, if they're, unless you're like approving.
No,
I think that just having to look into it.
so we're looking
Wi-Fi,
at
right?
better cameras and see if it'll dovetail with the, that's a great idea. Are we done with part? Very good. Number 15, discuss use of Magnolia Boulevard by large truck and possible prohibition of the same.
Yes, Dr. Story had come to me with this, with some of the trucks that are starting to use or using the Magnolia Circle to access Costco. And they have trouble making the turn, and so they're damaging the median as they go by and with ramps.
Yeah, we've actually, in my history of living in Savannah, we've had trucks get stuck there. So I know they have to call the PD out and block traffic. It's a huge chaos. I sent a picture to Jonathan recently, where somebody had tried to, I don't know if it was a truck or somebody with a trailer had gone through there and tore up the grass, all of the irrigation underneath it.
What are they doing coming through Savannah? Why, if they're going to Costco, why are they?
We had, last week,
380.
380 was closed, yeah.
Oh, okay, so, okay.
But you also have, trucks that do go through there. I don't know if they're big moving trucks or, you know, it's not a. I'll tell you, the trucks that deliver the shingles go through there sometimes.
It's a
So-
pretty tight turn.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just restrict them from the roundabout? I mean, you need your single trucks to come and deliver.
I would say that there were alternate pathways to get anywhere in Savannah besides the roundabout. So I would say, yes, the roundabout is the pain point where big trucks cannot make that. I would say, based on what Jonathan said, we'd have to go to the county and ask for them to adopt an ordinance that says no through trucks from this point to this point. And that would be basically 1385 to the west end of the roundabout is what I would think.
Does that have to be a study?
I don't know what the county is going to request. I mean, I think that we need to show one that, you know, there's a reason for it, but then two, it's not negatively impacting the area that we're converting traffic with trucks to. And so I think the county is going to want all of that information. But I don't know what kind of formal study that is. It makes it easier that you're not diverting it to another jurisdiction. You know, you're just diverting it within your own. So you can have to go get permission from somebody else for that. But you know, the county wants to make sure that they're not going to get calls from wherever the trucks are diverted that, hey, what are all these trucks doing here? Now they're always going by my house. So, you know, we just need to kind of look at that and make sure that, you know, we provide the county with the information that they can justify.
So the alternate pathway, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, like how does you get to this house or this area without it, this area, and I think you know, you have the entrances to the north, so that helps a lot. So I guess if you wanted to take action to authorize, you know, more of an investigation into this and to look at, you know, work with Jennifer, and maybe Chief Kennedy to see, you know, what kind of options we have and what that map would look like.
Committee,
What's up?
a committee.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Brandon and
I mean, I think we could probably just have Brandon and Jennifer and Chief do that. I don't think we need a bunch of people
Okay.
involved in it.
okay.
And they can come back with us with what they find with the next month or whenever with what the alternate pathways could be, and we can react on it. 'Cause I think a lot of that data is going to come from Chief anyway, to be honest with you. So I would motion that Brandon, Jennifer, and Chief take a look at alternate, you know, the alternative pathways for trucks to make a submittal to county.
Very good. I have a second.
Well, the alternate is gonna fish trap, and that's already congested, but go ahead.
It might not be. I mean, because you've got, you know, they could make the turns in from 380. You're gonna have to look at the Magnolia 380. There's the main entrance that they could come in at some point. You got fish trap entrances. There's several alternatives there, but we're not saying we're going to submit it, but they need to investigate. So let's investigate at this point.
All right. There's a second. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? For 16, report from the chief of the Elm Ridge Police Department.
Good evening again. So I think I mentioned this last month, but you recall the room link app, which explains some companies. That went live on the motion. So that's, we posted on social media about it. This would take a minute for people to download it. We have actually decided to discard again the new address, all the officers. And so there's actually a QR code on the back of that says feedback, and you can go straight to how to download that. So hopefully once it's discarded and carried, that will be used more often. Over the last year, we've sent a lot of officers to instructor school, which is a separate certification we have to have from the state. The reason for that is classes are expensive, and the more officers we have that are certified instructors on staff, at least we can send one class to a trainer class, because that teaches a bunch of people versus a lot of. So since we had so many sent, we had an instructor meeting held, and we created the hybrid year departments. This year's calendar for classes for the departments, and so that's all. It's kind of cleaning things up in the year, part of all of our vision here. So a lot of classes coming for the officers, and at the end of our best practices with the new building, there's a lot more required classes that's going to require us to do. So we'll have more training. So I'll even get tired of going to training at some point. But I didn't know until last month, but Denton ISD holds a monthly safety and security committee. I think it's like a cool kids club. There a few chiefs we got it, and I was about it last month, so I'm waiting finally. I think Tuesday. But it's kind of cool. We talked about the $15,000 thing, a couple of their marketing program, and you get to see the systems they're looking at, you know, how, I guess our progress reports on checking for closed doors, you know, all those things. So it's kind of cool to sit with Superintendent Russell and see their reviews on things. So it looks like there'll be something that we'll be doing every month now. So because they apply this school year. The administration and the finance supervisor, which is Sergeant Rudesil, as our admin sergeant, met with previous handler. We'll do that in a second. About expectations of the program as it was coming into implementation statuses. We also met with Megan at Triton, along with our relations specialist, or you also know as customer service. I'll give her a bit Alexandra to talk about the open house event. So we're still ways out. I'm just get some idea of how we want to handle that. We also, myself and Chief Master, we'll sit down and we do it every year by this time and looked at our year-to-date figures, make sure that we're tracking progress, what we should be. When we reviewed it, we should have been about 54%, and that's really flat what we're hitting. We're at 51%. But in our year. So we're actually a little under budget, which is good. So I want to make sure we come in at or below our figure during the year. So if you recall, also last month I was in Waco for the chief's school I go to a couple years. There was a great discussion about the Uvalde incident. The current chief of Uvalde, when it happened, was there. He spoke, and as he spoke, the stories, one of the big hangups of that event was they were waiting on a master key to get into the classroom, and the key was the door was unlocked. But So I was sitting there thinking in class, like, oh, we should have a master key in the class. So I came back and we met with Principal Hawkins over at Savannah. And eventually, real cool with us, I'm putting a physical master key that access to all classrooms somewhere in that front office lobby. All the officers know where it's at, where it goes to it. That led us down a rabbit hole to make sure that we have the proxy cards on all the vehicles. We would have added cars the last couple of years since that SRO program's been in place. So a couple of our cars were found were broke or missing. So we went through and dropped a label on the big Savannah Gator labeled on police identification, police access card. So we ordered bothered clips for all the police vehicles, and these cars to me was very accessible. I do not want to be the cheapest in front of the media and get to school. So that was something. If you remember a few months back or more, we ordered breaching tools from all the cars. That's the same philosophy. I don't want to ever be in a situation where we can't get to that school. So that's all done. We set up real good there. I've heard since I've been chief, the officers wanted the low very best. I'm not as much fan myself. I like the classic look. But with recruiting issues across the country with officers, the back pain issues, I understand it. So, I'm a big proponent of you bringing an idea to me. I want to write a proposal. I want you to work me on it, but go evaluate it. I'm willing to discuss anything. The answer may not be what you want, but we're going to look at anything. The best thing Kent brought to me, actually, I can get behind it. There are very strict stipulations on what you're allowed to put on that vest. I know a lot of officers go crazy with it, but too much. It's just, we're not SWAT here. We're not trying to be honest. So, there are big restrictions, and everybody knows it takes one copy script for everybody. They're actually policing themselves already. They're not even in. So we looked at the budget. We can handle it under our current uniform budgets. Nothing for extra on here. So we approved the change. So it is a huge morale boost in the department. And it said, don't spend this up to me 2 years to get you to say this. So, but one person, I'm telling you, said, no, it's on public record. It doesn't hear them. And as always, we're still working with Frostland RPG on the buildings. So that has become a lot lately. So, activity, the total calls for service is 2,374, 235 were dispatched, 2,139 were self-initiated. We had a low dispatch call. I was asking Brad to recheck some of that 3 times. Well, this can't be right. If the weather happens, people are at home, they weren't doing much, and they're out community protest. So 90% of our calls are actually self-initiated this last month. That's a high. Decrease of total of 374 calls combined of all those types of calls. So that 213 traffic contacts, I guess the officers are even more generous this month. We had 95% following report.
Wow.
So I don't want to hear anything about getting to it.
That's pretty crazy, but summer's coming.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. There weren't a little wool. We call it crammed every 6 months, and we're in that wool right now. Today, we're at 5,122 calls for service. You have your monthly report and your breakdown in your OneDrive. It looks a little bit different. We can grab that more one day and want to get fancy. And I guess the HOA is going to ask us for more detailed what types of crime versus we started zero things. So he did it. So, sorry. You have your SNR report. There's nothing major in there. There's a couple little, some kid brought like a water gun and you should call it in. Some little kids, but, Officer May works very well with Principal Hawkins, and they got to handle a lot of stuff internally. There's no reason to push that out until we can bring everybody out when it's handled quickly. There's no issue there. So we can handle, but nothing should still be there. All right, carrying on, let's go there. As you know, you've seen on social media about that last month. Marshall was chosen for our veterans responder. I met him a couple weeks ago. He is using my experience with the canine. I'm impressed by that. He's not even fully trained on narcotics, and he's already quality guidance when he presented. It's impressive. I have on here that Simmons was supposed to start handling school, but we'll go 2 floors down. Monday, Officer Simmons came to us, and I guess the schedule that K9 was going to go to, which she knew about, was going to cause issues in her family life. So we had actually a couple of discussions, and actually came mutually decided that it was not the right time in her career to take this on. So we have reposted that internally. Haven't heard just not what's going to be. We already have 1 or 2 that are applied for it. And it closes tomorrow. So I talked to our vendor. The handler school started. There's a few of the dogs that were going to the handler school. Luckily, I had a long relationship with this vendor. So he said, as soon as you get your handler, just send him to Willis Kitty Club back in. So I'm hoping by next Wednesday that whoever's chosen is back in the handler, just get on this. So a little bit of a, we didn't expect that, but is what it is. Positive side is that not only Marshall, we all know that Marshall was donated, the commission recommended came up and talked to us. I was advised a couple weeks ago that our handler school is also being paid. So that's another $2,500 for not paying for. So that's a very cheap case there. So that's gonna go his user card's gonna be actually yesterday, Alpha Graphics was out doing some building stuff for us, and we had his name put on the card. And then if you see on our social media that he's named after a fallen at the other Georgia, which is special detail we created, as he says, in memory of definitely March on the factory car. So it's really cool tribute. I think it's got traction in Georgia. It's pretty cool. So all right, community services, radar trailers plus 1,800 block of comments. 94 and some channel percent of the speed limit. The average speed was about 24 miles an hour. Average violation speed was 34. Routine stuff on cars last month. Since then, a couple options decided back into some stuff that we got to figure out. Staffing update. We have 4 vacancies. We were very hopeful there for a moment. We have 4 in backgrounds. That's going to be very fixed. And I'll pause there. I've said this before. We are very, very, very picky in what we bring on. And I can't afford to be that way. I'm going to be that. All 4 of those people were pushed out of background with the efficiency reserve now. So we're not hurting. We have 2 that are in training that fill out pretty quick. So we're not hurting. But I would might be some time to start thinking about what's beneficial something we could do because we're just not seeing that push. We're not the only ones, but we need to start thinking about what sets us apart from other agencies. We're all competing. In the days of where you don't still have your back for the PD, those are they're still. The good news is we're not seeing people leave. We have a good culture. I'm not worried at this point. Maybe something to discuss in the committee or something. What's something to do? Oh, money type of thing. How can we set ourselves be different? So honestly, I'll be honest publicly. I think some of it is the WCID that people see the district and like, oh, how long is this thing gonna be around? We actually heard that from one of our newest officers class that's ensuring spring wasn't going well for him or there's a match for him. He reached out to her, was gonna apply here, we're kind of waiting on it. He talked to the academy, had it marked. Didn't see anything from him. We asked Officer McMahon what's going on. He was he's concerned about the district thing and how long it's gonna last. So he went by a little longer. How about that then? So it's just something we have to deal with. And I don't know how we publicly say that we're here, but we're not going anywhere. I mean, we feel to help. I don't know. I think it's always going to be an issue we have. All right, going back there. Officer Stevens is doing great into training. Officer, I think it's a good thing. So you got a little staff doing training. You got remedial. Sergeant Russo had 10-day plan. You got 14 days from you. You're supporting this termination. So he set aside a 10-day plan. There's like 3 topics that the problems. Put him in Detective Holland. He was well-liked, very good training. All the jiu-jitsu guy that does arguments tactics. In 4 days, he was confident to put around that. So a lot of times you find on training, it's a lot much about haters. I can't think it's good work for someone. You may end up possibly work well together because you have a good person to catch. I hate that guy. You're just fans. We kind of found this one that FTOs you had before were not bad FTOs, they're strict. She just took it a little bit differently. She needed to see from a different light. They did a lot of mock scenarios. We would say, hey, when you do that tracker stuff, keep your hands free. She kept having to check the right every flashlight in her hand. So let's show her why. And so we put some blue guns in holsters and we told Officer May was out there trying to break her school and get out target. Just show her why. And so she was like, oh my God, get it now. So different lighting stuff. So the takeaway is she's back on phase 3. You saw Officer Harris, number 1, the sergeant assessment with Magnolia. Sergeant Artesia, as I mentioned, went to the admin sergeant. He is doing fantastic in that position. So that was great. Officer Trion was named the department's first neighborhood service officer. This is a new unit we kind of did. I think I mentioned a few months ago. Some of our moving in the department. Due to staffing, he's not going to be pulled out yet. He's still on patrol. There's going to be a dual purpose where he's still going to go to all the HOA meetings. He's going to become your face, but different stuff. And then in the future, will be HOA meetings, 80s online, for community initiatives, working kind of in conjunction with Alex. There's also a day shift type of schedule. They can fill in if we have shortages for patrol. And then if he has nothing going on, that's like patrol. Then our K9 officer who works the evening shift will be a backfill for patrol as well. So you've looked in these safeguards. We get a lot of staffing. We're straight 3 presence is still. And that is the end. I thought it was all that for.
Speaking of Officer Treon, well deserved, and I heard that the moment he returned from maternity leave, he reached out to our HOA and even noticed missing street signs that were not ticketed, which for Arrowbrooke is very rare. So good on him.
Well, I'll tell you, so normally when we have posts like this, I'll post it, we'll let it go on. I didn't post this. Everyone thinks you know for what he's done, especially with everyone with like, you can't get member things we have going on. It was a no brainer. And when I put that in a while, nobody bought that up. No, yeah, we're good. So he had bought a second phone that he was paying for to communicate with their family. So now when this, but no, I get your phone, yeah. I'm paying for a phone, but yeah, this is his, he loves it. This is what up his alley. Decided for that. I would just still 100% now, but patrol always in the foundation, but we can't have that. So we'll slowly get there. Any questions on the people?
I had a question on the invoice. I think I know the answer, but I just wanted to hear it. The PD phones were on T-Mobile, and then there was an AT&T invoice, and that's for the cars, correct?
We're slowly transitioning to AT&T from T-Mobile. So the cars have AT&T because T-Mobile had really bad reception on the computers in the cars. They run off some cars. They have this little faster network, the reliability FirstNet system. We looked at going AT&T a while back. The previous GM wanted to leave T-Mobile. It never made sense for me to have two bills. Y'all mentioned a few times in this meeting, I like consistent things in one place. And so if we have to have the cars at AT&T, lost not everything they use. So it's a slow transition because some of these phones we have are on contract or whatever for many years on T-Mobile. So as we get new stuff, we go to AT&T, and then as these run out, we go to AT&T.
Gotcha. Okay.
I talked about to Aaron about some of that previously. The nice thing about it is that once you get into like the municipal services, all the pricing is really similar and competitive.
Okay, that's what.
It's not like it is on.
AT&T is expensive for consumers.
They are all along the same page when it comes to municipal pricing. So
Yeah, we would have changed it more much. Yeah, it's more about consistency.
so municipal pricing through AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile is all really consistent because they're all vying for that municipal business.
Like I said, if we were fortunate if you cars with the reception, you can answer your seconds for all.
No, it has to work. Right.
And the account representative contact AT&T is that.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday, like my first year.
T-Mobile's 5G is insane in some places. It just, I get it giddy sometimes.
Yeah.
But not the doesn't compute.
It's the weirdest thing. T-Mobile has that there on water tower, but for so many of our cars, it's all the computers we have here. There's always this shit.
Maybe it's cards.
We do that process.
It has to work.
The other question I was gonna ask you, Chief, I saw a resident, on Facebook was saying she had some issues outside of the community, fish trap with people running stop signs. There's nothing that we can do with that, right?
This is a regional problem as well. I mean, I hate it from the opposite. I was on the trail, I saw it. You leave Savannah, you come out of the district there, now you're in the county or you're in Prosper. And the way that statute's written in the CCP, it says municipal police officers, not district police officers. So I think we brought this up before. I'll send you that later. Jared Patchen, four-page letter, Jared Patchen about this. The districts are becoming more prevalent. They're very prevalent down in Houston, but a lot of times consuls handle those. But they're becoming more prevalent for Texas, especially with potential legislative change coming. But there's some restrictions like that. A lot of cities will have 1,000 feet outside of your boundary that you don't get that stuff. My son record has, and on Marsh Lane, the far right lane, or Spring Valley, sorry, the far lane is fucking French. Well, I have something still make that stop if they're in the right lane because it's within that so many feet rule. On their district stuff, it's boom, where that sidewalk stops and that district stuff, you're out. And so it makes it hard, like the embarrassing for us, honestly, because we drive 20 years all the time and you can't. Now, that's Class C stuff. We have put the boundaries on DWI, so you make DWI at risk. It's only off on 380 and things like that, like 85. Because you get behind that, that's a good steward thing. I mean, I can't just stop that. So the county's taking those. They are county charges, but challenge us on that yet. But This, the Class C stuff, I would love to see changed. That's a state level thing.
It's not a matter of getting an agreement with the sheriff's or anything. It's the law is boxing us in.
Yeah, because they tried that when we first started. They reached out to Little Love. I think the idea at the time, I wasn't obviously in this position, but I think they were trying to help Little Elm with like 380 and Johnny was with us. In exchange, we would write tickets to your court, but we want to use your jail, and the AG shut it down because of that law. Is that how you remember it? Yeah. But I think until that statute changed, and that's districts grow up here, it's gonna have to. I mean, but yeah, if we're an anomaly, you know, where the architecture is an anomaly, this PD is an anomaly. I mean, we're in this weird position where you really can't rely on sheriff's office, that work for us, contractors don't work for us, just because you get the staffing levels, Bernie, I think he's gonna do this. If I say he's more important than this contract, so have to be fantastic, but it's just weird it's a district, so. It will change laws.
The other struggle we face is not a lot of district PDs. I mean, there's more there's not a lot of district PDs.
That one is like issue. On call, it's not like a full fledged department. But we're 21,000 residents or something. I mean, I'm sure decent goes on how. And as far as PD's concerned, I was like, only so only 15% of PDs are over like 40 costs in Texas. So we're actually a small medium department, but we're restricted. And so we provide a great service, and residents that think we can do what everybody else does on these roadways, they don't know what the district boundaries are. But then we're kind of locked in.
So maybe we need to lobby a little bit more because Patterson isn't our guy anymore. And so Richard Hayes, I think.
You know, Richard Hayes, I thought Patterson still covered one of our.
Yes,
It covers Artesia.
Part of.
Yeah, but Richard Hayes is Savannah.
Richard Hayes is, yeah, so it'd probably be one of those things where we reach out to and lobby our.
It's a matter of true single word. So what I propose was instead of saying, it's something about this municipal officer. Yeah, it should have say officers under, chapter 2 or whatever it is, of code of procedure have this authority.
And I know I took that to you for the letter you wrote, and I had on another letter to Patterson on that, so.
Yeah, I may reach out to you, Chief, and start working Richard Hayes to a little different direction.
I don't know Richard, because I had thought about reaching out to him before, but I had met Jared Patterson a couple of times.
I'm talking about before. I promise you these, our sister city love it. We don't get revenue on tickets anyway. But if we can help them do their city stuff or what they're seeing as well, that's in county, we also just thing. I don't care what the tickets go to, we don't need the revenue. We can change that one special too, but if I talk to her, so,
I think it's just, you see something, whether it's outside of boundaries.
Something egregious, right?
we always say, it's stop it wasn't harmful. And if I stop that car, there's a dead body in the car, if I push the poison street, the stop's bad, the murder goes away. That's not worth that, so it's a statute. But if I can tell anyone to fix that, let me know all of it, because it's something we fight all the time.
Good. Thank you.
More questions? Have a motion to accept the police department report.
Real quickly with your PD pass. If any of you were here last month, you might recall that Chief Kennedy was jacketless in the freezing cold because of an incident earlier in the day with the building. I did happen to see you driving home and you had to, well, you didn't have to, but you did stop at a traffic accident. You were the first one there on scene in the freezing cold with no jacket. So I just wanted to say thank you for just being an example of service and, helping out the other communities that aren't there yet. So.
Appreciate it.
That's just an offer to buy you a jacket.
How do you want it's fun days?
Do I have a motion to accept the PD report?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
All in favor? Any opposed? I'm going once. Item 17, report regarding status of construction of district's admin building.
All right, so like I said, there's a lot going on. We're at the final sprint here. The last OAC was today. So if you looked at this market today, this was updated again. I probably get most of it done, so you can kind of start seeing what's happening. But I think it's finished. So as of today, there's been no safety issues presented. The elevator was completed. It did fail at initial inspection, as we expected. They most some to do. I think there was 11 total issues, 5 from the inspector, 6 from the similar elevator company that they saw. Andrew texted me right before the meeting that it passed. These research data passed. So there was a concern that we would open the building in the elevator, but it's passed. So it's the generator was installed yesterday. Crossland moved that old generator from the parking lot to the 720 to the upper water tower solar area. So we just have to figure out what we want to do with that. It does need about $1,800 in repairs, and if we do sell the panel on 724 building needs to be removed with that generator. So that's a talk we're working right now, but at some point we just get in the way out there. So there's something to be paid money wise. The parking lot canopies, they were initially scheduled for March 1st. That was delayed. They actually started about 2 days ago, and they're online. I think they're initially they need paint and the actual green canopy on, but the work needs to be done as of driving here today. The landscape was completed. Fifth panels arrived this morning, and they finished them today. The gate was put up yesterday. That was to make Aubrey happy and the fire marshal happy about the glass box being there for our fire inspections. But the rest of it, they came in and it's completed. I think that the last two of the painting process now. They've got really at this point, it's the downstairs corner is what's really left of the final paint. So that's going along nicely. All the tile work's done. The car is complete with the exception of the community room. There's still some paint to be done in that ceiling in there, so they don't be down quite yet. All the rubber hot baseboard was coming in. So there's a bunch of pictures in your OneDrive. There's triple on there. So there's the finance workstation there. You can see kind of final product of it. So it really changes the whole look of the room. The building canopies are near completion. The last one is that you see in the main picture of this report, that top area, the wind this last few days, and I don't get there either. So it is a very slow process. Each one that's you look really close, there's individual little like bent pieces, and it's just slow process. So they're open first next week. That's the point. And at that point, they're outside the building is done. Swag it, which is all your meeting camera things. Originally they were going to come early March. Aaron and I were on the phone last night about, they wanted us to actually sign a bunch of stuff saying that there is no dust in the area. There's I get it, I guess. So he asked if we'd be okay with pushing it to like mid-April. I think we plan to be in Artesia in April anyway, so maybe May meeting and it'd be in by then. So like, yes, it's gonna be a busy week. That kind of week we're looking at, but we don't have to be in that. We can do all their camera installs. So a little bit of delay there. AT&T, they ran the one into the building a couple weeks ago. They had to run it to the box at the rating. They told us that was not going to be done like April 15th or something. Actually popped out this week and got it done. So now it's just all the wiring's done. It's just gotta go to the computers and do or they do that. But I hope about Monday or Tuesday we have fiber. So that was something we worried about being able to do that. The tornado shelters. Tornado shelter windows are already installed. She's there. Just a reminder, if it's not done by time to go like all the way out of July, there that will be changed out to I don't think y'all can see that. It was sort of the wrong swing and need to be fixed. So we can't hold because it's a signature door that has to be locked there. So we didn't have the door open nothing that we could open. So there's a bunch of card reader issues throughout the building across up now fixed. All the millworks nearing completion. All of our lockers have been moved out of PD. They're all key lockers are in the new building. The electricity which goes inside of them was all done yesterday. So all the officers are have to be working out of Rubbermaid storage containers right now. So, but as they walk through, they get more excited. So it's okay. If you want something more, you won't leave. One of the big hangups is metal shelving. Southwest Solutions is a company doing all that, and they're just fast. I mean, the district PD records is done. That was something we had and moved to save money there. The quartermaster shelving the RPD records, which is a new roller systems. I'm into those concepts in April now, and so I kind of cross on a little first about this was all signed months and months ago. Why is the delays on this? And so he's still looking into what the issues are. My concern is they're going to be the ones that don't think up at this point. And there hasn't been a reason for them to think up. They could have been out. It doesn't sound like a hard. It's still. I watched them put it in the y'all record room, so they're talking. I'm like, what's the issue? Why is it, and the law, I think the lockers, that's big.
Mm.
The rest is, I don't know what the issue. The lines fit ordered, we chose colors for that stuff, so leave that gray, because it's very light the building, so it's the right color in there. The fire marshal came out, much to Crossland's surprise, which is it's the opposite of most inspections. He wants the furniture in where he does the final approval versus moments before you put furniture in. It's
not standard. Seems like a standard thing.
it's up to his discretion.
When we built our buildings that we work out of, fire marshal wanted to see the building before the furniture was placed.
So you don't.
So that's what he wants. So everything is good. He just wants to see that, make sure it's good. There's a couple, I think, a floodlight stairwell wasn't there. And that's an exit on it. It's just minor stuff. So there's no worry about getting past getting your life safety inspection done. They get your certificate off. So that's your quick. And honestly, there's probably a lot more little things. It's just finish up there. Cost saving. I think I mentioned this, but it's important to know from last month. You know that ductwork issue in the gas chambers, they were going to redo the whole sheet rock, all the tile, all that stuff for this little Blvd system. It's only about 30 grand. And we walked over like, why don't you just put it on that side of the wall? And they could. It was $2,000. It's just $30,000. So we saved a bunch of money there. There were a couple of change orders in the fire damper controls. They didn't. Someone messed up. It would have been part of the original cost of the fire sprinkler system. There's supposed to be some electronic controls in those lines. Like, I guess when it melts, there's a still system melts on the top. That's turn something else on. They didn't order that, so that was $62.25. So again, that would have been something you paid for earlier, but they didn't order at the time. In the elevator, one of the reasons was there was no safe call feature. You get stuck. It's kind of interesting. The elevator had a CAT 5 or 6 something ran into it, but they're actually all analog. You have to have. It's more dependable like the fiber. I don't know. So we had to buy a part from Schindler that converts it. That was $2,000 that piece, which is kind of ridiculous. But you walk in, it's their elevator. So we had to buy that to get the inspection. So that's been on to great conversion. And this was here in a second. Artesia still fantastic. So at that for me, minor little adjustments. There's still a lot. I think maybe all know that with filling this thing out. But I was walking in one of my 15 times a day, and I noticed we never ordered a bench and holding cell. So they ordered a bench. So prisoners, I guess, probably busts it too. So that was $635 for one of the bolting to the ground. They can't pick it up their less. Patio furniture, if you recall, they just quoted out like $9,000 on the list. We got it bought and sent in for $1,900. A different set. Me and Mark going to be over there putting part patio furniture together because he told me it was supposed to be white glove service, shows up to put together a little bit. When it showed up at the box, they drove off. So I called Rock about. They required us to ship in part of the white glove size. This is a white glove also. Part next week, we're going to sell that $3 for the patio furniture together, but we'll get it done. Gym equipment's been installed. They finished that this week. There's one piece that became damaged. It's always with the cardboard. So it looks great. The officers are very excited about that. So thank you for buying it. Contingency funds, your construction contingency is certainly sitting at $180,636.41. Your design contingency has a balance of remaining balance of $25,993.05. So you still have over $205,000 of the contingency funds. In theory, you shouldn't be diving into much more. That's when it comes back to the project.
So that reminds me that it would have to come out of contingency to get a hold of Mustangs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
And that's taken care of now?
We define taken care of. I mean, they're not,
Oh, they're not?
no, we got.
So we're gonna have to,
Actually discuss.
okay, so we're gonna have to hit contingency for that.
I guess if I put it back figure, so just you don't even continue the lady pulls out, then you get that money back.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, but,
That would play ideally where you do it, honestly.
okay, so, all right, that's what I want.
The good thing is it won't be that extra money. So you can, it's something we already paid in the contract, you do this, all to be used up in this contract, you think what it wasn't, so. Well, out more, it's just, it's still.
And we know when we're gonna address that so that we can see where our contingency is gonna lay out at, since that basically pay out of construction.
I mean, they need to be there immediately, so, we were gonna move forward on that, but we can figure out a timeline with them and see if we can work with that.
Yeah, I think it's at 30 or something, then yeah, we can do it that way.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you don't have the ability to third film, it's fair, but.
But I'm not sure what they were maybe kind of like. Find it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I thought you have all the ponies been in there, they're starting to spill that and it's in the bathroom, in the water. And all the faucets are held up, because they can't get the faucets, they can't test release water level. So there's like, I think there's just some faucets in these rooms.
Well, we knew it was gonna have to be done. We just wanted to talk with Mustang first, so.
I reached out to them and had a conversation today too to follow up. And that's the price.
Good news is there's no additions to drawing press, so we're doing that. So I have a whole section here on milestone dates. This is kind of your wrap up target at every point. So Crossland, as of yesterday, was giving me substantial completion date of tomorrow. I talked to a contractor, they're super, it's a tree, so they're down on side that's under Crossland. He seems to be more honest. He's saying my next Friday.
Those guys get a little bit anxious to call it. Okay, we're done. We're good, right?
That's something I had about 2 years. I really expect.
No, but to hand you the keys and
Well, how do you hear?
I've been through that with restaurants. It's like, whoa, no.
Well, they haven't given me the tape. What's this? No, you haven't given me tape yet, man. All right, so furniture, CC consumer brand will be here on April. Actually, the 31st will be installed on the first. So that's all your desks. For some reason, the seating desk that's separate. They gotta come to the knobs. But most of the department should be cool. April 1, seating desk. Moving forward the inspections with our time. We will start combining a Crossland and owner punch list on April 3rd. So that OAC meeting, instead of being an OAC meeting, it's going to be a punch list starting early, probably last of all. The remaining furniture will be that following week on that Monday. That's all the seating. Building maintenance training instead of April 10th. Another guy will be there one thing as well. Something that was ever happened with succession plan. I had to be Bishop more people not going for this. Although, for being honest with you, so with all of that, my target begin move-in date is April 14th. That's my target. So I talked across that, there's any issues with that, I don't see issues with that. They had a follow-up thing scheduled with them. He's actually going to do it over that weekend before. So Monday should be probably ready to start moving. It won't be done in one day, but as soon as you move one computer, we can move everything. So that's what we're aiming for. So the 14th will be very good. We're applying for officer OT for officers, plus computers on the does come in. So, and of course, our grand opening ceremony is anticipated early August, being the second week, last loaded on. And then you have your photos, you know, one, put some interior ones, and start seeing some of that. Also, I'm getting some of your aerials this week, so I will photos, aerials, and shots.
Probably too windy.
He said it too.
Oh, okay.
I think, but Ross is out, not office on vacation for the last few days, so they go to first, I think, and then just get it to. Any questions on the?
You said August 2nd?
Is that right?
For the grace of the first Saturday of August, yes. It's a little bit due for. And that might change depending on how far we can get in. The tentatively, yes, August 2nd.
We're gonna try to go pretty quick also on this FFP decoration stuff, because I would like, it won't be part of what we're gonna move on the May meeting. But I would like, if you're paying all here, pretty much knocked out. So the first time we see it there, I don't want to be beforehand, nothing. And a lot of this stuff we're running into some requirement, like you are peeking out of that on the door, there's a sign we have to have on this private area, if you go past this point, you disarm. We thought we were gonna get away for one side of the elevator. But then more I thought about it, somebody's gonna be random at night one night. And I'm like, well, the community places shine that sign. And no one's gonna say something about that. If you're not in a secure area yet, it's go around it. So yeah, we're like 3 more signs I should put the doors and access to each side. So it's just little stuff like that catch. Just a lot of little stuff. Every time we walk, there's something else. So Centos has been in today doing the paper towel orders and all that thing. We're watching in one of the bathrooms that has paper towel racks built into the wall, as you see in a bathroom at Target. But there's also a paper towel extension in the wall. So I'm not messed up. You know, the other bathrooms have it. Well, the problem is you nail into the tile. And I'm not gonna let that fly. Pull it off, replace the tile. So that's where we are. It's just all kinds of. So it's taking up a lot of time. We're managing. Anything else?
The picture of the gym equipment, is that final placement?
So that room's not modified yet. And we have a baseboard. So everything will needs.
Just make sure your treadmill is away from the wall.
Yeah, I'm sure that's. They told us that they granted Andrew his dates. We told him 2 months, 3 months ago, this was going. And I'd asked him like every week, you're so good, you're so good, you're so good. Yep. So the company has been installing it for the last week on gym equipment. We walked today and he said something about the wall on you. Well, and I was like, that's me, man. But you told me for 3 months, whatever, this is awesome. Put tarps around it, air to that. I asked him. He said, Jim was there. Just that.
Do I have a motion to accept the project manager report?
Make a motion to accept project manager report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay. Consider approval of amendment to the joint interlocal cooperation agreement for school resource officer.
States to my email, my conversation I have, Jeff Russell, they have the documents, we have it, we are, with them, we pay for guest firm. So they would contribute that, like us, EC11, we have to show that out, they go on board 6 months, like, after we, our house lines, that's started, so. So I'm gonna go to his attorney to make sure that the language is okay. Approve it, but we're just kind of slowly.
We have to do this every year.
No, I mean, the goal is to have it, I've set it up to where they pay the maximum of what the state gives them. So I didn't set it a dollar amount, I just said it's the changes, I don't want to do it again. So whatever that maximum is.
That's like, I would go out and chase for money every year.
Because. But there's no action, just update.
They made sure to stay on it last month that they are at 80% deficit, with that $15,000 thing, there's marshals on it. And we just go ahead, I guess. That's kind of laughing internally. It's not funny, but I know what deal with.
That's not what they said in their news article.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. So no action, sir.
Item 19, consider committee reports. What committees do we have to report?
Parks and Greenbelt, Felicia and I did meet. It's actually on me. I took some pretty good notes and promised her I would kind of change some stuff around and send it back to her, and totally didn't get to that due to some other commitments. So that ball is still in my court, and I should have that wrapped up. So or
What's a big
rules.
big thing?
Yeah.
And in one of the contracts, there's rules in there, so when you gotta make sure it's all cohesive.
Yeah, I did not know that existed, and that was
Yeah, like no alcohol, things like that, so.
I mean, it's gonna be implemented finally this part. We're this year I consider kind of tentative what we're doing, and that part is gonna take some time to get. Didn't have public safety, but we might need to. Finance.
With the bookkeeping chaos, we did not have a finance meeting.
That's not outside.
Yeah. These findings.
Yeah.
Much more beneficial. And one of Brady's first questions was, when do we need a finance committee? What do I need to go off? So this should be quite a bit easier things.
So then if you just want to coordinate and give us a week that works best. Okay.
What about communication?
Can we cover that on the next item?
Some action in 19.
I believe so.
Number 20. Report on the district website and communication committee report.
Yeah. So we are working with the chief candidate on the grand opening that's for your admin building, and we plan to have a budget to present at the board meeting and more details.
And in the last month, we've also taken an initiative to grow like the Facebook page and put information out about the waste collection. And because I know Jennifer mentioned there was some confusion about the guidelines there. And so about once a week, every other week, I am making an effort to put that information out. And in the last month, our page has grown by about 50 followers. So that is substantial growth and the most growth I've seen in a while. So that's always good. And I'm happy to share any other information about scooter safety too, if you're willing to promote that on the page. You can also, yeah, okay. And then during last month, we gave content access to the chief, police chief and the general manager. So I have access that she doesn't. So Right, yes, Karen is working on doing that, so that way you guys can edit the page, upload the pages, upload the content that you need. And then the only other thing from me is I heard about the spring cleanup day. I want to put that on the website, on the district events page, and we can promote that as well. Yeah, that's all for me, unless you guys have any questions or something else that you brought up in the committee.
So communications committee meeting, we got together. We really weren't taking action on anything this month because we were cleaning up on, trying to get some cleanup done on some historical, particularly asked the board stuff. Megan was supposed to have a short presentation for us on that, but she is on vacation. So, but she was supposed to cover the ask the board. She'd evidently tied in with you on the verbiage previously and stuff, and she was going to make the, talk to us about what that was going to look like on the website. So we're going to have to wait until next month for Megan to cover that with us, so we can get that rolling. But other than that, we were just, the communications committee was focused more on making sure we're cleaning up and tidying up things for the website that we haven't finished out with.
Is Megan still the best person to reach out to?
I think for like an immediate update, or something.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, me or Taylor can probably do something quicker. I'm gonna be honest, because we have a little more availability, but if it's something that requires further advising, I would defer to Megan.
okay, like our IT thing, I sent her a note and said, hey, can you blast something out? And I just wondered if that was the right protocol or if I should go to.
Typically, that'd be fine, but she was on vacation, so I believe we ended up having to go to Cuba.
No, Megan did.
Megan did it.
Okay.
But
So
that's-
she's still working.
Yeah.
But she's in like.
Very different time zone.
Yes. So she's limited hours.
Okay. Maybe I'll reach out to both of you guys in the future.
Yeah.
Anything for me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion to accept the Spring District Website and Communication Committee. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Nice.
Any opposed? 21?
Yes, Mr. President, for items 21, 22, 5, and 9, I would recommend that the board go to closed session under 10.21, 55172, 55174.
We have a motion to go into closed session.
We'll make the motion to go into closed section.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Do I have a motion to come out of executive session?
Make the motion to come out of executive session.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So, Mr. President, we're only taking action on item number 5, the service agreement with Steve Aubrey.
Do I have a motion on item 5?
Well, I would make a motion to move forward with Aubrey fire plan pending review by the attorneys and clarification on a few items.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
17. I think it's
Artesia.
Artesia. And that's all I got.
Future agenda item?
Is there anything we haven't already talked about?
Let's do it.
Oh, well.
Okay.
I'm all for it.
Just
Okay.
scooters, but could we put an item on there for was lowering the speed limit, because I know we had Artesia bring it up last
Yeah,
Arrowbrooke this month. I don't know the process, but
it's a traffic study.
But we also have to get the county. So we have to, we already have an interlocal agreement with them for some traffic enforcement or regulations in any district. And we have to ask them to set, we can't set speed limits. So we can put up as many signs as we want, but to actually, set the speed limit, the county has to do it. And so we have to provide them the traffic study that will ask for traffic study to support the change. And then if it's supported,
It's kind of expensive, but there'll be people that don't like it, but it's 25 through Winsome.
Yeah.
And that's a busy road.
right. I'm not saying that it would be the case here, but I have seen speed study come to a result that was not one, where it actually suggests to be faster. So I don't think that would be the issue, but just we need to
Be advised.
I would just know when we talk to the engineer and let's go through it. And for some preliminary, hey, what do you need here? Because if they came back and said, hey, it should be 40, then,
Wrong answer.
wrong answer. Excuse me, not say, sad. So, anything else?
You have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.